Alright guys, as you know, if you've been following my channel, I am a huge fan of trying and experimenting with new aquarium products. And a brand that I love is Fluval. And Fluval hit me up and said, hey, we just came out with a brand new all-in-one bowl kit. It's not recommended for fish, but it's recommended for snails and shrimp. And they were like, hey, do you want to give it a shot? And I was like, yes, I do. So today we're going to be unboxing the new Fluval LIV kit. We're going to be showing you what it all comes with, and we're also going to be planting it and filling it up. And after that, we'll show you kind of what it looks like all done. We're going to show you the process of aquascaping it, and just all in all show you how this is an awesome beginner kit if you just want to get started aquascaping. And remember, this is not meant for keeping fish. It's for keeping shrimp and small snails. So let's get it out of the box, see what we got. Fluval is amazing. They even sent me some of their stratum. This is an aqua soil. It's a clay pebble that helps keep your plants, get them all their nutrients they need. It keeps your water stable on your pH levels. This is going to be super useful in a little bit, and we'll show you how we use it. They even gave us some shrimp food to remind us that this is for shrimp, not for fish. And it looks like they even gave us some of their cool plant tweezers. So we're definitely going to be utilizing the tweezers to throw some plants in there. We'll set that off to the side for now, but bada bing, bada boom, they made sure this thing came perfect. Some ASMR tape noises.
I think that's the opposite of ASMR.
Huh?
I think that's the opposite.
Is that opposite? It's too loud?
Opposite, yeah.
Wouldn't bubbles be?
It's like almost nails on a chalkboard.
That's almost nails on a chalkboard. Hey, it works for me. It is a little loud. Hopefully we keep that in the video.
Do some quick ASMR like right here.
Right here? Oh man, Fluval's probably wondering, why did we send this guy our kit? But hey, we're having fun. Aquascaping is all about fun and just going with the flow. You probably can't even hear me right now because of it, but hey. Boom, look at that thing. It even was upright. I love it. So like I was saying, this is Fluval's new all-in-one Micro-Scaping aquarium kit. It's called the LIV, and it comes in a teak wood appearance, and it also comes in a white if you want more of a clean, bright white. I went with the teak because it matches all my aquarium stands in my fish room, so I feel like that is just going to be perfect. On the front here, you can see why it is a Micro-Scaping kit. It is only 1.6 gallons. So do not put fish in this. I know you'll be tempted because it'll look beautiful. Not recommended. You can get some nice shrimp, you can get some snails. This is mainly for experiencing aquascaping. The manual here, we'll probably get back to this in a little bit when I get confused or mess something up, but let's see if we can get this out of the box. Max is going to help me out here. Thanks, Max. Appreciate it. Boom. Get that box out of here. I just want to be careful because I know this bowl is glass. Boom. Just like so. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at this little thing. I really like what Fluval is doing here. They're giving you kind of a really beginner kit that is small and easy to use, so you don't need to spend a lot of money on rocks, on wood, on plants. You know, you can really just get, you know, the bare minimums and make this thing look amazing. The first thing that I notice is they're utilizing a gravel, I don't know the correct word for it, but the filter goes through the gravel on the bottom, and then the water comes up here through the top nozzle. So I think this guy just lifts up here. That is awesome. Okay, so there's your little light. I believe this is just a bright white light. I think it was 38K, so that's perfect for plants. That's ASMR right there, something like that. So that is awesome. They give you an included plant light. You can plug it in and on with just a little USB there. We'll get that out of the packaging. In here, it's going to be your filter chambers. So let's see, we got one of these pieces. This is where the instruction kit's probably going to come in handy, but let's just get everything out, show you what it comes with. Oh, nice. They even give you the brick to plug it in. So I'm assuming one is going to be for your light, one is going to be for your filter. This is going to be that filter that we talked about. And I think this guy, we just figured it out, goes just like so. I like that. A little plug there. We'll get that out in just a second. I want to know what this guy is. That's in there. Okay, so super easy. I love it. Does that come up? Oh, it does. Heck yeah. Okay, so you can just remove this entire chamber. I'm assuming they do this to make it easy to clean. What is going to be filtering your water is going to be a little pack here, and if I'm thinking correctly, this is probably going to be the carbon, the Fluval carbon, and then up here is probably going to be just some smaller, feels just like some micro-porous filter media beads. This is going to be awesome because with a tank that's a gallon, you don't need a lot of filtration. You're just going to let the plants do most of the work, but having the polishing pad and the carbon is going to make sure that water stays crystal clear. It looks like you just slide this guy right in like that. And this is probably where the instructions are going to come into play, but we're just going to get this put together. Once I read those instructions and get it all put together, we'll come right back to it, and we're going to get our substrate poured, we're going to get our rocks in, get a couple pieces of wood, and then grab some plants from my other tanks and make it a fully planted micro aquascape. So we'll see you in about 2 seconds. All right, so after looking at the instructions for a little second, I just wanted to show you kind of how to get this all inserted. One thing is it shows you how to insert the little nozzle onto your filter, as well as showing you how to clean your impeller. So if you notice your flow is slowing down, you can clean that and maintain it. But basically what I was confused about is how they meant the little nozzle goes in there. Basically, the lid comes off, this comes off, and you can pull that out to clean your impeller. But when you're putting it back together, you can insert it like so, insert that like so, you'll hear a little click. And then that hole there is where this nozzle is going to get inserted into, just like so. And then you want to run your cord through the back when you slide it in. And that's just going to run back through this channel that they included little clips to hold it into. And then this guy just pops right onto there. And then your light is just going to pop right onto there. And just like that, you have your kit ready to go for aquascaping time. So the steps that we're going to do this is pretty simple. I'm not going to do anything fancy with this. Basically, we're going to show you how to build your substrate layer. I like to use aqua soil covered with some decorative gravel. After we get that done, we're going to go grab some dragonstone. Dragonstone is one of the most commonly found aquascaping rocks. It's easy to work with. It has a lot of character. So we'll put some dragonstone in there, maybe throw a few twigs in there, and then we're going to go to all my plants, take plants out, plant it, plug it in, and we'll be done with our aquascaping or our micro aquascaping kit from Fluval. So let's cut to getting some gravel out. We're going to rinse some gravel and start pouring. Building a substrate system is extremely crucial whenever you're aquascaping, and luckily Fluval has you covered, because the way that I like to set up my aquascapes is I like to use a form of aqua soil on the very bottom covered with a decorative gravel. You have to know our plants need nutrients, and if they just have regular gravel with none in there, they're not going to do very well. So with Fluval Stratum, it is a small, mineral-rich, nutritious clay pebble, and I'll show you what that looks like. And what I like to do is use the aqua soil underneath and then cap it with our decorative gravel. So right here, we'll pour some out so you can see what that looks like. Basically, this is going to stay at the bottom, and all of our plants' roots are going to find that, and that's what's going to keep them, give them all their minerals. It's going to give them all the nutrients they need to grow and be happy, healthy plants. So what we'll do to start off with is just pour a little aqua soil in the bottom here. We're going to flatten this out. Probably can use a little bit more. Just on this side back here. Just like so. You don't need a lot of it. You can use more if you want more, but usually a aqua soil like this is going to be a bit more pricey than a decorative gravel. So I use this sparingly, but you definitely want enough, you know, probably at least an inch of your aqua soil so that your plant's roots can spread out throughout it. So I think we might need a little bit more just to give us some height. But when designing your, you know, Fluval LIV kit, you want to make sure you don't fill this all the way up with, you know, rocks and aqua soil, because you don't have a lot of real estate here to have your plants. So if you have a really high substrate base, you'll realize you'll run out of room very fast, and it is quite difficult to get your base layer out. So I'm probably just going to stick with doing another little cup or two, maybe one little bit more. Right in the back here, just like so. Make sure that's nice and patted down. That's perfect. So if you look, I know it's kind of hard for the camera to get it, but this is, if you take your finger right down to there, that's covering my first little knuckle there, so that's probably an inch, which is all you need for your substrate base. And then what I'm gonna do is grab your decorative sand, or not sand, but you know, gravel. And this is a really nice mixed gravel that gives you a lot of nice detail and color. And what you're gonna do is just pour it on top of it. You wanna get another, you know, ½ inch to an inch of that. But what I'm gonna do and recommend for you to do, don't pour all of your gravel into here first. Pour a little bit and then go get your rocks and then use more gravel to fill in the spaces that need it. So we're just gonna gently pour this in. Just like so. Just like that. And just like that, you have completed your substrate base. Not only does that decorative gravel look good, but you know that once you stick plants down in there, your plants are going to thrive and look very well thanks to the Fluval stratum. So right now, I'm gonna head out to my garage. Max might even follow me out there to look at my rock storage. I'm a little bit of a rock hoarder. You know, you can never have too many rocks. We're gonna pick out some dragonstone. We're obviously gonna need some little dragonstone to go in here, but let's go see what we got, see what we can work with, and we'll see if we can make a little scape. The only thing I'm gonna try to work on is to hide this pipe right here. So I'm thinking if I can put a rock right in front of it, that'll give that a good hiding spot. Reason being is I'm always trying to make your scapes look very natural, and obviously a black filter pipe like this will kind of distract from that. But yeah, without me yapping, let's go get some rocks and get this scaped. All right, so this is kind of my completely messy Aquascape rock storage. I'm just gonna move some of these twigs out of the way here. But like what I was saying, if you know you're a beginner and you're just starting out, dragonstone is a very common rock to find either online or at your local fish store, and it's not very pricey. And what you get is these really cool, super heavy, you know, detailed stones for not very expensive. And you know, fun fact about dragonstone, it's actually formed at the bottom of a river in mud. So it would normally be laying flat like this underneath the water and the gravel, and that's how that's formed. And so it makes it very easy to break apart into smaller pieces. We obviously can't use anything this large just because that tank isn't that big. So I think I'm just gonna grab some of these smaller pieces like so, break off some of that glue from a last scape. I really like these. This guy's got some cool height to it. I like that guy. This guy might be a little too tall, but I might be able to bury that and put it in front of that little nozzle thing. So we'll do that. You know what, let me go grab a bucket to put these in. Boom. All right, so I picked out probably a little bit more than I'll need of the dragon stone, and what we're gonna do is just lay it out. I always recommend for any aquascape you do, lay out all your materials so you really get a good look at them. There's going to be rocks that just work, there's gonna be some that just do not work, but having a little bit extra than what you need is always recommended. So, like I said, I grabbed a little too many, but better safe than sorry. Boom. So with these rocks, we're also going to be using some sticks and twigs. I always like hoarding sticks and twigs because you never know when you're going to need them. I don't know if we're going to need many of these, but I think if they fit well and we can glue them down to the dragonstone, it'll add more detail to it, but we'll get to these in a little bit. Right now, we want to focus on our aquascape. So the first thing I like to start out with is get a big piece in there first, and then you can work around it. If you start with little tiny pieces, they can get lost quite quickly. But if you start with a big piece and then work your way back down, it's easy to fill in around it. So like I said, the first goal that I wanted to do was kind of cover up this pole right here, or this is going to be where your water comes out of. So to be more specific, that's where your water's coming out of. I think immediately this guy's gonna be way too big, and that's just gonna take up way too much space. We might come back to it, but I just wanna see. We might be able to, but I think that's just gonna take up way too much space. Yeah, that's just gonna be ridiculous. That's not gonna work, so we'll take this guy out, we'll set it down over here. So we'll need another, oh perfect, thank you Max. So right off the bat, I'm looking for more of a straight up and down piece, and I'm looking for skinny pieces because we don't have a lot of real estate and we want to be able to find a piece that just fits well. So I think I like these two guys, so let's see what works. That looks pretty good. I don't know what you're thinking. Yeah, that looks good. I think why I'm gonna stick with this piece right here is see how the rock kind of gives you that slant to the right there? That's gonna be really helpful in creating depth in your scape. So right off the bat, if we can keep the theme of kind of going to the right, that'll really give us a lot of, you know, depth and give us a place for our eyes to follow. So I don't think we're gonna need this piece because I like that one. We don't need this guy because we have our big piece done. So now we just want to focus on adding detail around it. One thing to keep in mind is give yourself enough space for plants as well. I am known for getting greedy with my rocks and I end up with very little places to plant plants in. So basically what I'm thinking is if I can keep this back area a little bit open for some taller plants, that would be perfect. And then keep a little bit in the front open for some plants as well, will be golden. But we can't just have one rock in there, so let's get some more in. I really like the looks of this little guy. Bada bing, bada boom. So we probably can use him as a support as well. Maybe. Perfect. I like that. Let's keep maybe. Ooh, okay, I like that. I like that a lot. That looks kind of good. Keep that going. So now we can automatically know we can get rid of our bigger pieces. Obviously these are gonna be way too big. I'm gonna put those back in there. This guy, I like how it looks, but it's just too thick and it's gonna take up too much bottom real estate. So we're gonna get that guy out of there too. and we're left with some pretty nice little tiny accent pieces. I don't know if we're gonna need much more. I don't know. Let's see from the front here. So we might be able to pick this guy up a little bit. Kind of like that. And then a rule that I kind of like to follow when you're doing an aquascape is you never want to have an even number of objects because it just looks too balanced and too man-made. So what I think I'm going to do is just balance this guy right in the front here. In here, it is going to take up some real estate, but I do not like having an even number of rocks. So we can bury this guy. Just like so. And as you can see, now we don't have an even number, and most of the rocks are kind of going in that direction. And we blocked our filter pipe here. We can still see a little bit, but that is totally fine. I want none of that to be too obstructed because that's going to be our water flow coming into the tank. But right now, it looks like everything is kind of going over in that direction, which I really like. All right, so what I like to do with little tiny bowls like we're doing with the Fluval LIV kit is I like to grab plants from my existing tanks just because I know they're healthy, I know they're well grown, and they're used to my aquarium water. But just so you know, if this is your first aquarium or aquascape setup and you get plants from online or at your local fish store, there's something called plant melt, and that is totally normal. Sometimes what happens is these plants come from plant farms and they're in the perfect environment, and through them getting shipped and getting replanted and repotted, and they go into your tank, they're going to stress out a little bit, and sometimes they melt and you'll see your plants just die off and wither away. Do me a favor, don't worry, don't freak out. That's totally normal. As long as the base roots of your plant are happy and healthy, new leaves will come right back within a couple weeks. So keep that in mind if you're new to the channel, or if you're new to aquascaping rather. But what I'm gonna do is grab some of these crypts right here. We're gonna grab this big piece, or dwarf lily. I don't know if it'll fit because of how large it is, but I think it'll look kind of cool. We're gonna grab some of these bacopas here that I got from the store, and we're gonna grab this echinodorus to try to put in the back of the tank. It might be a little tall, but I think it'll look really, really good. So I'm gonna grab some of these plants, put them on my cutting board here, bring them into there, and we'll show you planting them up. Let's grab, I think that's gonna be too freaking big.
It won't be too big.
That thing is huge.
Yeah, that's way too big.
Dude, $6.
That's not bad.
Yeah, they pulled it out and they were like, we left this one in here for too long. It got so big. Okay, let's grab this though. These ones will be cool. Boom. This guy will give us some good ones. And I think we'll grab some crypts from where it's like super packed. All right, so now we have a nice little assortment of plants. Something that's awesome about these little bowls is you do not need a lot of plants. You just need a couple to get started. Plants will grow pretty fast. You can trim them, replant them. But for now, we're gonna grab our nice brand new Fluval plant tweezers, just like so. We'll throw this over here. Get that off, and I like that these are kind of nice and soft to help grip the plants. And what we got here is, like I said, we have the echinodorus, we have our bacopa here, it's an awesome stem plant, and then we have some of my favorite, which are cryptocorns. These are a little bit big, but I think they'll grow in nicely and fit pretty well in there. What I like to do is start with the big plants first. So I'm gonna grab some of these and I'm gonna try to put them in the back here. I think they're gonna be a bit tall, so I'm gonna try to find the ones that are smaller, and then I'll just put the remaining ones over in my other tank. We just wanna find some smaller ones here. Just like that guy is pretty good. This guy's pretty small. I like this guy too. So if you are new to planting, what you're gonna do is grab your tweezers. You're gonna put the base where the roots start of your plant. You're going to lightly grip them like so, and then you're going to insert them into the gravel as deep as they can go. I know it's kind of hard to see, but we're just gonna throw it in there. You want to give it a little shake, and then you want to kind of grab one of the leaves and jiggle them out. Just give them a little shimmy. Oh, don't hit your rocks, but then you want to just put the rocks right over it, and there you go. Just like so. Now I know this is out of the water column, totally normal. It'll die off. I can trim it and we'll be good to go. I'm going to grab another small one here. Looks like this one's already dying. Put that like so. We'll probably put this guy over in this corner. Just like so.
What's your favorite word today?
Just like so, yeah, you're right.
I think
Yeah.
that was like 4 or 5 times in that sentence.
Damn, just like so.
We'll have to do like a
like so counter.
Yeah, a like so counter.
Yeah, I don't know. I just evolve, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard and at all today, really.
I mean, I'll take that. Oh, Jesus.
We can do like a take a shot every time you hear just like so.
If it wasn't for a sponsored video, we probably would.
100%.
Okay, so these, I want to keep these. So let me just go quickly put these in the tank so they don't dry out. All right, so for more smaller, delicate stem plants, I really do like their Fluval plant tweezers, but since I don't have a lot of space, these are a bit big for me to get in there, so I'm just gonna use some of the smaller ones to get them in there. But another tip I wanted to share with you if you're a new aquascaper, if you have aquarium plants that have a lot of roots like this, it's hard to get it into the soil, but feel free to take it and you can snap them to make it more manageable, just like that. You're not gonna hurt the plant. Yes, it'll stress it out a little bit, but these will come right back to life. So we're just gonna, again, grab it at the base there. And we're gonna find a place for this. I think this guy would be really cool. Right there. And then I wanna grab it. Position it so we can see it right like so. Just like that. Man, this guy only had one little root. I'm gonna put, ooh, I like.
Cool. If you do like another cryptocorn right there.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah, with this guy. Yeah. So we finished planting. Love little tiny tanks like this just because they're so easy to set up. You know, you can get this kit, get a couple plants. I would assume maybe with your aqua soil, gravel, the kit itself, and the rocks and plants, you're probably spending, you know, under $250, which is really excellent. I would say about $200 because you probably wouldn't need a lot of plants. You don't need a lot of rocks, you know. And it takes maybe an hour or two. You'd have a fun little weekend project to do. It's really fun to set up. I love doing aquascapes on my own. I love doing them with my wife as well. It's just a fun little project to do, especially too, I just thought about if you have, you know, a young kid or something like that, doing that with them gets them involved in the hobby. It's a fun project to do together, and then as it grows and evolves, you guys can watch it and observe it and make changes together. So it's really just a fun kit. But right now what I'm gonna do is fill it up with water so these plants don't dry out that fast. I can already feel them getting a little dry. I'm going to make room on my shelf over there. It's a little messy right now. I'll do that off camera, but I'm gonna make room on a shelf over here for it. We'll move it over to the shelf, fill it up with water, plug everything in, and kind of get some nice little B-roll shots of it. But overall, I just wanted to say a huge shout out to Fluval. Thank you so much for sending me your new LIV kit in the teak color. Absolutely love this project. It was a very fun time, and overall, I think it's a great little project. I'm excited to watch it grow, and like always, thank you for following along, watching all my projects, all my videos. I'm excited to keep building out my fish room, and then without further ado, we'll leave you with some really cool B-roll shots of the LIV kit.